right along, we've got someone who I think is new to this mic. Please give a very, very warm Comedy Zone welcome to Mr. Larry, what is it?
Oh man, we practiced this.
I did practice it, just...
Larios.
Don't record yet.
Michael Larios. Like hilarious? Oh.
Guys, are you ready for your next comedian this evening? I think he's new to this mic. He's a very funny fellow. We've practiced his name before. Please put your hands together for Mr. Michael Larios.
Man, they better hope Dave Chappelle never comes in here and sees that. It's awful. It looks like a black Peter Lorre. It's a solid reference. Look it up. I saw a bumper sticker the other day that said, "Who saved who?" Brought to you by the SPCA Animal Shelter. Implying that when I adopted that dog, perhaps it's the dog that saved my life. And I definitely, when I got my dog, I wasn't scheduled to be euthanized the following Tuesday. So I feel like I'm the hero in this scenario. I don't appreciate some bumper sticker giving my shelter dog all the credit. I do have a shelter dog, and I love her, but thank you. I live in fear of becoming like that dog person that nobody likes, like that talks about their dog constantly like it's their kid. So I kind of remain a little distant from my dog. Like in the winter, she slipped on some ice and sprained her leg. And I could tell it wasn't broken because it didn't really bother her, but she had a noticeable limp. I just figured it'd go away. And after 2 months of her limping, it didn't go away. It's not much of a dog crowd. I've done that joke in front of dog crowds, and after they heard like 2 months of limping, they like booed and hissed me like I was a silent movie villain. So she's limping around the living room, and I'm looking at her thinking, are you really gonna force me to pay to take you to the vet twice in 1 year, you awful, awful dog? But I did take her to the vet. And even though it was like 2 months before her annual checkup, I still tried to roll it into that. Like I showed up with like a big bag of her poop, like, better take this out for testing. The receptionist wasn't having it. She just dropped it immediately in the trash. Like, that's not where my dog's poop goes. It goes to the lab. Long story short, the vet gave her some pills, and a week later she was fine. But he told me when he was giving me the pills, like, look, if this doesn't work, you gotta bring her back, we gotta do x-rays, and then we'll see what the options are, maybe surgery. At that point, it's, how much money are you comfortable spending? And if you don't know, for like dogs, for x-rays, they have to sedate them to stop the dog from moving. And to do that, they have to keep the dog overnight before, because they want to monitor everything it eats and drinks for 12 hours. So by x-rays, he's talking about overnight stay and drugs for the dog. It's gonna be like $1,000. And he just talked about it like, oh, well, of course we're doing that if we have to. Like, why would you think that just without any kind of conversation, I'm gonna spend $1,000 on an 8-year-old dog? And the look, I think, coming from his perspective, he's like, well, you walked in without any giant devil horns on your head, so I assumed you were okay with spending $1,000 to find out what was going on with a beloved family member. Which is not a family member, she's a dog. I don't know why that seems so weird. And the other thing they do that kind of pisses me off is every time they give her pills, that always has her name and then my last name, like Scotia Larios, like it's my wife or something. Like, dogs don't have last names. If she did have a last name, her name would be like Kermit from the Muppets. It'd be like Scotia T. Dog. But I've had a lot of friends that are dog owners, and they always say like, oh, I don't know what I'd do in that kind of situation if she needs surgery or something. How do you put a price on a family member? It's like, you can put a price pretty easily. It's an 8-year-old dog. 2 of those years were spent in a pound, so stress-wise, she's probably closer to 11. Carry the one, like $632, give or take. And that's a real thing. She spent 2 years in the pound before we got her. That's almost 15 years in people years. Like, that changes her. She's affected by it. I can tell, like, every time she's eating, she's constantly like looking over her shoulder. Whenever I lock a door in the house, she goes berserk. When I give her a bath, she always sits down with like her asshole like firmly implanted on the floor of the bathtub. Like, gives me this look like, not today, Hefe. All right, well, I'd like to thank you, everybody. That was my time. Okay.